are talking the slow burn psychological horror movie Spiral. This one is directed by Curtis David Harder, and it focuses on a middle-aged gay couple as they move to a small rural community. They have a teenage daughter that was the daughter of one of the guys' previous relationship, and they kind of want to go out and get away from the hustle and bustle of city life. And it all seems fairly idyllic at first, but there seems to be a variety of homophobic attitudes towards the couple and the family. People breaking in, writing homophobic slurs on the walls, things like this. One of the couple has had a serious assault when they were younger as well, so he's sort of very, aware of kind of like these type of behaviours. And one of the couple, the kind of our main character, seems to put together that there may be something else going on, and there may well be something to do with this townsfolk, and they're some type of cult that are manipulating events for their own kind of nefarious agenda. What will happen? You have to watch the movie to find out. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about what works. First of all, so obviously a metaphor for discrimination and kind of people's views of one another. And there's a part in the film where there's some exposition about how people will always fear someone, be it different people in different times. This takes place in the mid-90s, and we see a scene at the end which is like to show you some kind of like new fears as kind of time goes on. I've got to say our main actor here, Jeffrey Bowyer-Chapman, he's a pretty good actor. I thought he did a good performance. He had some very kind of weird, trippy scenes. There's he's taking medication, and we get some kind of hallucinogens because of that. But I think he does a good job of making a compelling and believable character. And I think the idea here is fairly solid, and I have to say the last act is pretty interesting and gets somewhat intense. And there are some good performances all around as well. I would say that. Okay, so what doesn't work for me? The main thing for me is the writing in this movie. I feel is fairly poor. The movie doesn't seem to want to have our characters act particularly realistically. So there's a number of different things that happen in this movie, and you would have thought, being a kind of a couple, that you would discuss things, but they don't. This couple essentially keeps everything to himself and doesn't tell his partner or their kind of daughter, really. And it just seems like, why would you do that? And the answer is so the plot can move forward. So it seems a little wobbly, I have to say, in some of its logic. As much as I think the third act is fairly strong, it also has some weaker points here. The fact that we have our antagonist essentially monologue the kind of their evil plan to one of our protagonists, smacks of kind of quite lazy writing in case you didn't get what was going on, or the movie obviously doesn't feel like it's made it clear enough about what the actual the plot has been all this time. It literally has a villain monologue at the end. I have to say as well, the movie as the movie ends, it sets up what would have been a far more interesting story, I feel, when ultimately the whole plot of this film is our protagonists just chasing their tails, and it would have been a more interesting plot had the movie kind of carried on past this with what happens right at the end kind of carrying on. I felt that would have been a more interesting take. I also feel our kind of antagonists are a little underdeveloped, and even though we do have an exposition dump, it kind of, we don't really know what the end game is, and we're given hints that they're about what it is that they're sort of doing, but we don't exactly know, who these people are exactly or what they are, which makes it somewhat of an unsatisfying film ultimately. The film has a message, so I can give it kind of props for that. But it's a pretty slow burn, and I don't feel it is particularly cerebral, or at least as cerebral as it thinks it is, and therefore It's just watchable and it's okay. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It's nothing special. It has some interesting ideas, good performances, but it's let down by some quite sloppy writing, if you want my opinion. And it feels like a TV show. It feels like a very small in scope and very kind of like no frills really. So very much feels like a TV show. 5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I shall look forward to you next time. Bye for now.